Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pokemon Mystery Dungeons and Dragons: The Lanwell Chronicles. To let us see who shall recap it this time. One of the players is very, very excited to do so, aren't they, Quill?
hmm
But it is Crow this time.
Okay, funny you should say that. Because on the last episode, we are going to go to
Back to
Town.
Pokemon.
But before we did that, we went to Sergey and Eugene went to the dojo where they trained a little bit on dummies, and we walked out prematurely because Eugene didn't still doesn't entirely trust the guild's hierarchy. I think we prepared a little more, and when we were about to leave, Reniel got a present in the form of a SB on staff, if I'm correct. Then we headed to Town, which was through a desert, because we were doing an escort mission too, and it was with a Servine that Eugene's family is familiar with. And through the desert, we encountered a Sandshrew who just wanted to watch guild members beat up bad guys, and we kind of shrewd him off. We reached the oasis where we made contact with the Servine, Lady Susan. Eugene was donning a disguise as like a Lanwell. I believe his name was like Benjamin Bigsby or something like that.
Hmm.
And he doesn't know what he's talking about when he's spouting hypotheses and equations, but all part of the ruse. We then traveled with Susan and were accosted by bandits. And we promptly beat up the bandits using our various techniques. I forget if it was before or after, but we also encountered kind of this snake oil salesman who wanted to test potions on us, but we eventually reached Town.
Yep, that is pretty much what happened, so get yourself a d6 of luck
Okay,
points.
I'm on the wrong server because I posted the link.
No, you will not be able to get a d6 of luck points there. Okay, then.
All right, on my new sheet too. I have 8 now. Now everyone can see it.
Apparently Parser really liked that one. But anyway, so yeah, it is currently the afternoon, and you have reached Gwable Town. Reniel and Reniel and Harold, you both are fairly familiar with this town, so you know you're on the east entrance, and you know the guild is fairly close by from the east entrance. So you both can also probably navigate the group to basically wherever you all want to go. As you reach sort of the town's outskirts, first up, in the town as well, you can see this very large building that sort of stands out to all of you that appears to be in the center of town. And as you enter it and sort of go through the outskirts, you see a few Pokemon give you cordial laves, but most of them seem to keep sort of look you up and down, and then just move on with their day, sort of. As you enter the town, Lady Susan looks to you and she says, "Well, all right, you managed to get me here. I must thank you all greatly. I shall now head off on my own. You need not follow up with me."
It was a pleasure.
Hmm. I do
I,
hope I enlightened you, young ones.
Out of character, do we know where we're collecting our payment for this?
You'd be collecting it at the guild.
Okay.
yeah, I was about to ask the same thing.
Yep, you may feel free to give yourselves a pat on the back for a job well done, and I'm sure the guild will have your payment whenever they get that stuff rolling or whatever. But ta-ta! And she sort of slithers off into the town.
She's where? Is there any particular building she's heading off to?
It looks like she's heading towards the center of the town, so towards the large building, but otherwise you're not certain if that's exactly where she's going or if it's just convenient to head that way, because as Raniel and Harold are aware, Gwable Town is sort of set up like a clock.
All right.
Is that center building like town hall or something?
You know, and Raniel knows that that center building is Gwable University.
Hmm. Right. Well, I guess we will head to the guild's headquarters or whatever here.
Okay, that's what you all want to do.
Yep.
Yeah. I believe I was gonna buy some apples too. How much are they?
Oh, they're just 1 gold. Luckily,
gold,
they're not
okay.
planning on stinting you out for apples here.
Oh, good.
Okay, I brought them prematurely, so I'm all good.
Okay.
I'm gonna stock back up to 10.
I also sold my daggers. How much would I get for 5 daggers?
For 5 daggers, let me check real quick. Oops. For 5 daggers, you would get. You would get 5 silver pieces.
Okay. And I'm also going to buy 20 darts, which are just a copper piece in the shop list in the PHP.
Yep.
All right. Something a little lighter.
Right. Also, speaking of which, how much does it cost to just get like geopebbles?
Geopebbles are just 1 silver piece per individual. Though, if you want to just go for gold, then just buy 10 for gold.
All right. I'm gonna get back up to 20.
That's all I really wanted.
Okay, so I assume that means in character you all are going to go shopping first?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, so as you are going shopping, you see that there are a lot of sellers have these large, well, not large, but they have these very fancy looking items, but when you look at their price tags, like almost all of them are over 100 gold at best. So, and a lot of them go into the 500, some of them are even worth thousands. They all look really fancy, but they're out of your price range. However, you see this Lunatone over here, and he notices you and he says, "Oh, you look like inspired little adventurers. Would you like a luckstone?"
A luckstone. May I inspect it? For my research, of course.
"Oh, certainly." He shows it to you and he says, "This thing will help you increase your luck, make it so that the odds are quite in your favor. And it's only for 30 gold."
Could I, I've kind of grown up on knowing when an offer is too good to be true, it usually isn't. So can I look it over to see if there's anything special about this rock?
You can, yes. Give me Arcana or Investigation.
I will go with investigation, which is +4.
Oh.
It looks like a. In fact, you're not even sure if it's a luckstone. It looks like a rock. You're not sure if there's anything fancy or not fancy about it.
It's a stone, Eugene.
I'm gonna pull out a little parchment and just I'm gonna keep it close to my chest, and I'm just putting scribbles on it, and just adjusting my glasses and just write down. Intriguing. I cannot I cannot see the properties of the stone. I would be required to take it home with me and inspect it for further research
30 gold.
equations.
Would you mind if we take it for a test run?
Sorry, I cannot trust you to do that. You know, bandits and stuff like that. I'm sure they'd love to take all my wares for a test run, but 30 gold or to hand it back. It's your choice.
Nah.
No, thank you.
Very well, you're missing out on quite a bit of luck, but if that's what you wish, that is what you wish.
Do you have anything else for sale, or is he just trying to hawk the stone off?
So far, it seems like he has a number of stones on him.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Reniel. I can't give credit. Come back when you're richer.
I have 208 gold. I could easily purchase it, but you have not sold me properly.
And whose fault is that?
Yours. You are a terrible salesman.
I am selling you luck for 30 gold. I do not see the problem here.
It is a rock. You must prove to me that it is lucky.
Well, during my research, I've found that good luck is just as likely as bad luck.
And there you are. So it is hard to definitively prove in a demonstration. You just have to buy one and see it for yourself.
You need to work on your sales pitch.
Of character, I'm honestly really tempted to buy this.
Very well. You may head on your day then.
I guess no one's buying it, so I guess we're just headed out on our way.
Yeah.
Though as you all come together and begin heading on your way, you notice that Harold is not currently with
No.
you.
No, he would have told them.
Oh,
I
okay.
have a few things I need to attend to. I'll meet you back at the guild building a little later.
Okay, don't wander too far. I mean,
I know exactly where I'm going. No need to worry about that.
well, it's not so much where you're going, it's just who will find you.
Oh, right.
As I said, I'll meet you at the guild building.
Okay.
Okay. So anyways, Harold, join me in the private room. Okay, so as you remember, having traveled these streets many times before, the building you're looking for is in the western edge of Quaybold, sort of at the. Let me look at a clock just so that I remember. At the 10 o'clock sort of route, it'll be in a bunch of back alleys.
All right.
So you walk there, making your way over, and as usual, a lot of the Pokemon sort of notice you. They sort of nod in your direction, but they otherwise don't really focus on you too much. A lot of them seem to be native Ledrithians. But you eventually walk into the series of alleyways that you're familiar with, and you find the specific alleyway where there's a slight notch in a wall that perfectly fits your Delver's badge.
Right. I'll go ahead and insert that then.
Okay, you insert it, you hear a clicking sound, and a door opens up for you.
Right. I head inside, familiar having done this many times before.
Mm-hmm. You walk inside, and what you see is of the familiar sight of the entryway. There isn't anything too particularly spectacular with this entryway, since at this point in time it's just sort of a just in case anyone passes by, they just see a dingy office space and think, oh, well, I guess there's nothing here, and leave. But you know that hidden behind one of the bookshelves, you push it across, and you end up in a what appears to be fairly technologically advanced sort of laboratory area. And upon entering through there, you see a Frostlass looking in your direction.
Apologies about the unplanned visit. Our work took us around this area anyway, so I figured I'd report in person.
Oh, Harold, I was wondering when I heard the door open. I was also kind of worried about you. You haven't reported in over a week.
Our work took us to the Trophanel Islands. I didn't have a particularly good opportunity to report from there.
That's understandable. I suppose guild work would take you to some places that'd be difficult to contact you. Anyways, come in, come in. Sure that you have a lot to tell us.
In some ways, not as much as I'd like, and in other ways, more than I'd like.
Very well. So she leads you into the laboratory, and there you see, as of right now, you see a Decidui and a Ninetales. They both seem to be looking at this sort of flat console sort of machine that appears to be having a sensor on it that's showing sort of wavelengths. You're aware that this shows distortions, specifically those of Mystery Dungeons, and even more specifically, it looks like they're keeping an eye on the Lake of Magic right now. And you also see a Reniculus there as well. The Surfetched and Excelgor you're used to seeing currently are not there.
Well, first of all, I'm going to have to thank you for this, and he pulls out the sword. It's been actually quite useful to ask Tarek about more details.
Oh, so you actually made use of it. Would you mind telling me a bit about your experiences? We've only had basic contact with the spirit inside that weapon, and it's mostly Tarek who has.
So Harold's just going to give kind of a brief description of the kind of features he's gotten through Hexblade. He'll also kind of give a summary of, the developments on the Trophanel Islands, Flefwool and his plans, and just kind of
Yeah,
skipping over this.
yeah. Basically, here's the plot so far. Okay. So you hear that. You see everyone in the building sort of frown at, especially when you mention the mystery dungeon. And you hear Robert said, so, they managed to create themselves a distortion then.
Somehow it appears they have, and my suspicion is that they intend to use them to destroy civilization on Lanwell as we know it.
I always knew the distortions would cause that. Very well.
I have a few other updates as well.
Okay.
I haven't had extensive personal interaction with the leaders of the Misty Gale's branch of the Freelance Guild, but I have developed, well, some assessment of what they're like. Raven, well, I hesitate to say brainwashed. I think he buys into the whole Freelance Guild or the good guys sort of thing, but I don't think he's a bad sort. I think his heart's in the right place. Thorin, I'm a little less sure about. The researcher, Kaylin, I think, like Raven, her heart's in the right place. But onto more serious issues. Have either of you ever heard of a creature called Nihiligo?
At that, you see Ave look up from the console and look towards you, and she says, I've heard of it. I've heard of those, yes. It is a creature that's only spoken of in legends and lore and was thought not to exist until an experiment by an espion named Gladriel, and Fleffel, as you know him, ended up tearing open a dimensional portal. It is not much is known about it other than what we've heard. From what we understand, you're aware of the spread of mystery dungeons since the war, obviously.
Of course.
We believe the spread of mystery dungeons and those ultra beasts are connected, though to what end we're not sure. Legends of ancient mystery dungeons since before even the war suggested that occasionally one would run into these beasts of incredible power who would cause untold damage at the end, but those beasts seem to be unable to reach our world. They only seem to be able to enter into mystery dungeons.
Apparently, Nihiligo is some sort of parasite with the capacity to destroy a Pokemon's soul.
Does seem to be quite...
As you would expect, I joined up with a team of other apprentices as part of my mission. And, well, I'm going to admit I've become rather close with them. One of my teammates is the son of that Espeon.
They seem a little surprised at this, but they continue, or they let you continue without saying much.
And he's become infected. You think there's only a matter of time before there's nothing of him left.
I see. Stell sort of floats there thinking for a moment, and she says, well, we don't know enough about those Ultra Beasts to help him now, but if you wish, we can attempt to do some research into it ourselves, see what we can learn about them, and potentially help your friend if that is what you'd want.
If that's not too much to ask.
If these creatures are related to mystery dungeons, then it is possible researching a way of helping your friend might also further our own goals. So I don't see any major issues with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We will, as usual, if you're in Misty Gales, we will send Ricky over with any information we happen to get. Is there anything else you wish to ask while you're here?
Do you have any further missions for me to pursue for the time being? Any new developments I should follow up on?
As of right now, based on what you've told us, it's clear that Fleffel and his aims are a danger to both our mission and Lanwell as a whole. So for now, we will have you continue working with the Freelance Guild to see if you can find out what his aims are, what his motivations are, and see if we can figure out a way of stopping it.
Understood.
Beyond that, if at all possible, we would like you... Are you certain the ones that you believe are in the Freelance Guild that are brainwashed by them, are you certain that they mean
I
well?
wouldn't. I wouldn't say brainwashed. That's the only perspective they had. That they're not brainwashed. They're just ignorant, I suppose. But Raven and Kaylin, yes, I feel that they are good people with their hearts in the right place.
Very well. Then if possible, if you do learn more of the Freelance Guild's corruption, then perhaps you might be able to persuade them, help them see the truth.
Well, we saw a little bit of that ourselves recently. Even my teammates are starting to distrust the integrity of the guild.
Do you intend to introduce them to us anytime soon?
I will leave that decision up to you. It is a bit of a risk to reveal ourselves, but at the same time, it could be helpful if I could be fully open with them.
Everyone looks at each other for a moment, and it's clear that they're all very deep in thought. Christelle eventually answers, I'm not opposed to it. Specifically, though, as you said, it is and would be a great risk. If you believe that they would be strong allies, that they would be able to help us eliminate mystery dungeons and help us expose the lies of the Freelance Guild, then I will allow you to reveal our secret to them. But understand you must be very careful.
Understood. I think the situation with Fluffle has grown urgent enough that the step is warranted.
Very well. Then, if that is your decision, I look forward to meeting them.
Harold gives a little bow. I will return likely either today or sometime tomorrow.
Okay. We will be prepared. Good luck, Harold.
Thank you. Same to you. And he's gonna head out and make his way towards the rendezvous point with everyone else.
Okay. Alright, then we will move back to the main chat and I'll tell you when you end up with everyone else.
Got it.
Okay, so the three of you, after Harold sort of leaves you and as you're doing your shopping, the three of you eventually begin making your way to the Freelance Guild up in the Gwable town. You walk to the northeast, sort of in the 2 o'clock direction, and you eventually see a building that's of a very similar shape to the one that you're used to from the Misty Gales. It doesn't look exactly the same. The building's a bit fancier, made a bit more of marble and stuff like that, but otherwise, shape-wise, it does look very similar.
I guess we're just heading inside.
Yeah, I can't
Yep.
see why we wouldn't do anything else.
Okay. So yeah, you walk up the steps and you walk into the building. What you see inside is, first off, you do actually see a specific area has.
You disappeared, Sonic. Like
Oh, did I disappear? Oh shoot.
Yep.
right as you were describing the what's inside.
Mhm.
Cut out.
Okay, let me try that again then. Okay, so what you see as you go inside is you see that this place actually has a notice board with various sort of quests that people will put on it and sort of ask for help in. The board does seem to have a few of them on as of right now, a few jobs and stuff like that, but otherwise the inside of the building is more or less empty. You imagine potentially because it is midday, so most of the people who are working here are probably off. And as you walk inside, you see a Medicham walks in. Oh, and there's also a reception desk, though that itself is empty. And there's the usual two doors that previously in your branch would lead to the mess hall. They're not sure if this one does as well, but anyways, from one of the two doors, you see it open, and you see a Medicham. He looks to you and he says, "Are you the ones here for Shad? The ones from Misty Gales?"
I
Raniel
nod.
nods.
Alright. We were informed you were gonna come. First things first, we've been informed of your successful escort. So, in lieu of Shad currently not being here, I will be able to give you your pay.
Oh, we get it here.
Yeah. So he walks over to you guys and he hands you 106 gold for the job.
Okay.
I'll let you divvy that out as you see fit.
104.
106.
Okay. So 26 gold and 5 silvers each.
Anyways, normally, as I said, normally Shad would be helping you all, but currently he's off at the moment. There seems to be something or other happening in the Lake of Magic Mystery Dungeon, and Shad and a small team of recruits from here are currently going to deal with it.
You probably don't know how long they'll be, though, right?
He believes he'll be back by tomorrow, but otherwise, you're correct. I can't exactly say how long he'll be. But we do have guest rooms here, as we're a more official branch than your training branch, Misty Gales. The rooms upstairs act as guest rooms for any member of the Freelance Guild who happens to be working and staying around this town. So we will offer you free room and board for while you're still doing things here. And if the message from Thornton isn't any indication, you intend to investigate Elizabeth's death, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Very well. We have already done our own investigation, so we're not sure what you'll find, but we've also been told that you wish to do it, so we will not interfere.
Would we be allowed to have the notes you gathered about it?
Certainly. Just give me. You'll have to give me a little bit to prepare those notes for you, and I'll give you a basic rundown of what we've discovered. And then we'll let you go off and see what you can find out.
Okay.
But beyond that, enjoy your stay, and I wish you luck in whatever you wish to investigate.
All right. Um, I I look to the party and well, I guess we're waiting. Either way for both these things.
Brunel's gonna go over and look at the board, just out of curiosity.
Okay. You look at the board. Bunch of it seems to be mostly like escort quests, find the right find an missing item. You see a couple of them are testing certain products that some of the Ledrithians here may be experimenting on and stuff like that, but otherwise you don't notice any familiar names or anything like that among the stuff.
Alright, so it's pretty standard fare then.
Yeah, pretty standard jobs. If you want to, if you want to take any, we'll discuss that after the stream and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's just a bunch of small stuff that you can do.
Okay. I guess in that case,
Yes, there is one person is looking for an apple, and there are 2 tiles away from an apple.
Yeah.
Naturally. But anyways, do you just intend to wait around?
Brunel's
Yeah.
probably gonna have a look around the place.
Are we allowed to walk around the place? Would that be
Yeah, you've been given free reign to just sort of walk around.
okay? Yeah, I guess I'm probably just gonna do that too, rather than just sit in a room for like till tomorrow.
Well, it's not till tomorrow. You're just waiting for.
The notes.
Yeah, you're waiting for the notes and you're waiting for Harold.
Yeah.
So yeah, you walk around, maybe do a bit of wandering, and the place looks very similar to the Misty Gales, though it doesn't seem to. It seems that it does have a dojo on the bottom floor, but it doesn't seem to have like any laboratory or anything. So you imagine that's something Kaylin might have added herself or gotten permission to add, but otherwise it looks very similar. You see the similar mess hall, it's got the dojo. Upstairs, the rooms aren't marked and they all seem to be guest rooms. The doors all do seem to be locked at this moment, so you'll need to get a key before you're allowed to use it. And the top floor doesn't have 3 rooms, it just has one room for a guildmaster's quarters.
Brunel's just going to comment that he finds it weird that there is a dojo instead of a laboratory in the Ledrithian branch of the guild.
With my exploring around, did I maybe find the laboratory, or do they just not have one?
It appears that either they don't have one or it's very well hidden. You would not have found it just casually walking around if it does exist.
In that case, I'm gonna keep an eye out for secret doors.
Do you want to do some casual?
Yeah.
Well,
Knocking on the walls.
yeah. You guys see Harold. You guys see Eugene just walking around, knocking on walls, investigating things closely. But anyways, after a while, you eventually see Harold come into the guild as well.
Did you find what you were looking for?
I did, yes.
What were you doing?
We can. I'll tell you in a bit. It's not important right now. What developments on your end?
Well,
We
it
got
seems.
paid.
Oh yeah, and I give Harold his, what was it, 27.5 or 28.5?
It was 26.5.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and the guild leader is out on a mission right now, and he'll be out till tomorrow. So, in that case, we're gonna pursue that death that happened here on Elizabeth, but they're gathering notes for us, so that'll take a while too. So we've just been kind of wandering around the guild, kind of empty.
Looks somewhat familiar at least, so it should be fairly easy to avoid getting lost.
Yeah, it's kind of suspicious. There's no, well, from the fact we don't have any keys, I can't find a laboratory of any kind when this is Ledrith.
I wonder if they outsource their work or something.
Perhaps they simply go to the university to do all of their studying.
Or, yeah, that's a good point.
I still think that would have thought they would have an in-house laboratory.
One
Was
would
there any-
think.
Was there any spot we were supposed to meet, or we just kind of hang out in the guest rooms? Was the idea?
I'm. The Medichim did not give you a specific spot to meet. No, you're not
Okay.
sure whether she assumed you were just going to stand, or he assumed you were just going to stay in the lobby, or what.
Yeah, I didn't get any instructions as to where to meet the Medicham, but seeing as there's no one here, I'm pretty sure he can find us easily.
I suppose we could get settled in.
Okay. So yeah, you all sort of settle in. You're eventually given a couple of keys to two of the guest rooms. Well, say for convenience, they're in a similar position to the ones you're used to using. And eventually, the Medicham returns with a basic rundown of what they noticed.
Rewind a little bit. While we're waiting, can I try and identify this poison while we wait?
Oh, sure. I actually kind of forgot about that. Okay, for that, give me. Let's see, you don't have anything fancy on you to do it, so give me straight up intelligence.
All right. And just straight up intelligence would be a +1. No.
This poison appears to be poison.
All right. So in that case, do I know who I would bring it to in this world to identify it? Like a poison type Pokemon or?
Generally, if you want to identify poisons, you could bring it to just basically any alchemists.
Okay.
Most of them would probably ask for a small fee to identify it. You could also potentially give it to Kaylin and she'd probably be able to learn it pretty quickly and waiver the fee, though. Considering your current relationship with Kaylin, you're probably going to pay the small gold for the alchemist.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll do that later.
Yeah, we'll say maybe on the way around or something like that, you'll drop it off with an alchemist, and I'll get it to you later what it does.
That's about it.
Okay, but anyways, yeah, so moving onward, you get basically you get a small rundown that looks like this.
Okay.
Might want to put that in the rolling chat so that the chat can see it, or not the chat, the audience can see it too.
Why would I want the audience to see my secrets? Alright, here you are, audience. I don't even know if all of it can fit in the audience, but we'll see.
Oh boy.
That is the basic rundown of notes of what we've discovered so far. If you wish to learn more of the formulas, then currently they're being researched by a familiar Pokémon to one of you, I believe. A certain Espeon is currently in Gweibold University taking a look at the formulas.
Reniel just kind of looks up.
Is it my father?
It is, yes.
I see. Perhaps we should give him a visit.
Oh. That's. Oh, never mind.
But beyond that,
Yeah.
you have free reign to, so long as you make sure not to destroy anything, you do have free reign to go over and investigate as you please.
I'm just kind of parsing out this, the notes you gave me.
Yeah.
I guess I'll thank this Medicham, and I guess I mean, are you okay to go to the university, Reniel?
I am.
Okay, I just didn't know if, there was difficult family matters things going on.
Oh no, nothing like that.
Okay. I assume it's that big building over there.
It is.
I guess that's where we're headed.
Okay. Alright then. Oh. Sorry, my mouse went screwy for a second. Okay. So, you four walk over to the university.
Okay, so as we leave the guild and we maybe head a few blocks from it, about what position in town is the guild building, by the way?
It's basically on the far side of the 2 o'clock position, basically near the Lake of Magic.
Okay.
So you got a good view of the lake from there. And it's otherwise basically like right near the outside of town area, sorta.
Another question before we leave the guild. Do we actually get the journal, like in a little evidence baggie?
Oh no, the journal is currently in the crime scene.
Okay. Got it. Then we can continue.
Okay.
So when we're a few blocks away, Harold's gonna kind of gesture everyone over into like an alley or something.
There are plenty of those around.
He's gonna look around and make sure that there's nobody else nearby. There's just us.
You look around, and this alley does appear to be abandoned. It looks like nobody appears to be around, and it doesn't look like there's anyone watching you or anything like that.
All right. What I'm about to tell you needs to be kept in the utmost secrecy. You do not tell anybody about this, especially nobody at the guild. Am I clear?
Reniel nods.
He doesn't continue until everybody agrees to this.
It's not that they weren't keeping secrets from us.
Eugene?
I hesitantly nod.
You remember Raven mentioned that organization, the Delvers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm actually a member of the Delvers.
Interesting. Is there anything you can tell us about them then?
Well, I would be mad about this, but I don't even know what the Delvers are. I just know they don't like the guild, and that's it.
That's partially true. The Delvers are less of an anti-guild organization and more an anti-dungeon organization.
Ah, I see.
I cannot say I blame them.
Given our experiences, it makes sense.
Our issue with the Freelance Guild arises from the fact that we believe the guild is a corrupt organization exploiting mystery dungeons for their own personal gain. Some of the more fanatical members believe that the Freelance Guild is directly responsible for dungeons. I'm not sure I buy into that.
Well, you saw what we saw in Tron Finale.
I'd say there's more at play than just the guild.
I agree.
If you wanted to suggest that, anyway.
My objective was to infiltrate the Freelance Guild as a double agent. That's how I ended up there. However, I think this issue with Fleffel has grown to be of such a major concern that my only option at this point is to trust you with this information. We have much bigger issues at hand here. I would like you to meet them, if possible.
Well, first of all, I do want to meet Fleffel again. And second, what if we don't jive completely with what they say? What happens if we go with you and that happens?
That likely won't be a problem. We're a pretty reasonable sort, I would like to believe. Obviously, for our own protection, you'll need to keep this a secret as much as possible, but largely our purpose here is going to be finding a way to prevent Fleffel from destroying civilization on Lanwell as we know it. I'm sure that's a goal we can all agree with.
Yeah. I'm just saying, perception is reality, and they say something that I don't agree with, and I'm a member of the guild.
They already know you are. They agree. I got permission for you to meet them beforehand.
Okay. Okay. I I trust you, Harold.
I'm sorry I had to keep this a secret, but I think you understand that this is a delicate situation.
Yeah, not unreasonable. You were probably doing this before we even met, right?
Indeed, I was.
Well, if you can promise me nothing will happen to us, whatever we say and well, whatever decision we make in there, and I, you saw me back at the guild. I can't be responsible if my emotions get the best of me.
You
As
were under
long
a lot
as
of
that
stress.
as long as that decision doesn't involve exposing us, yes, I can promise that.
Well, I have what I said the other day. I still don't completely trust the Freelance Guild.
I think that might make several of us then.
So, let's do it.
Thank you.
What about you, Reniel?
I will go too.
I think having somebody else to turn to avert this crisis is probably for the best.
I
I
do
hope you
feel
don't.
I
I
do
hope.
feel
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
I do feel the need to point out that Fleffel did not threaten to destroy Lanwell. He simply said he would come in and take over after the damage had been done by the other factions.
I suppose you're right. Reniel, I hope you don't mind. I told them about what happened to you. They're willing to help.
I cannot say that I mind that much.
They actually, apparently, these creatures akin to Nihiligo are actually spoken of in legends. They're only known to be able to enter this world through mystery dungeons. But I'm sure we can discuss more details when we arrive.
Reniel nods.
For the time being, we should continue to the university.
Are they familiar with you there, Reniel?
Well, my father certainly is.
But
Everyone else there, depending on how long they have worked there, probably at least know of me, as my mother was a
Hang on, words.
professor there.
okay, you should probably lead the way.
Very well. I will do so.
So Reniel will lead the way there.
Okay. So, Reniel leads you all into the center, and you eventually see Gwaybold University for its large magnificence as it goes straight into the sky. And as you're reaching this part of the city, you see it is so vastly more crowded with a whole bunch of Pokemon just all around, entering, exiting. And you're aware, Reniel, this is because the library in Gwaybold is publicly available to anybody who wishes to go in and look at any of the books inside and anything like that. You make your way into the building where you see a bailiff who you, Raniel, that your father is currently on the third floor just outside of the library, actually.
Okay.
Walking the several flights of stairs up to there, you see your father there in front of the library as suggested, and he appears to be talking to a Delphox.
All right. Uh, Gadiel hears in his head.
Hello, Dad.
Being sort of used to that, Gadriel sort of breaks his conversation for a moment, looks around, and he eventually sees you all. He looks sort of saddened as he sees Raniel, but he tries to sort of not let it show on his face. He says, "Oh, Raniel, and friends as well?"
Harold
They're
nods.
They are members of the Freelance Guild. They came here with me to investigate what you are currently investigating.
Fluffle's murder, then.
Reniel nods.
You see your father looks sort of sad at that, but he nods and he says, "Very well. We've been looking over the formulas given in Elizabeth's journal. We haven't fully deciphered it, but a lot of it seems very similar to the project that you were part of. If I didn't
If I may inquire, good sir, were there any pages missing from the journal?
There were a few, yes.
Okay. I'm desperately trying to keep up this ruse. I'm from Ledrith, but it's like falling apart because I'm like seeing all these like other Pokemon that are clearly smarter than me.
Yes. The journal itself did not have any absolute indication because the pages that were ripped out were expertly done so that even the paper crease did not appear to be there. Likely the pages were split and a mending cantrip was used to fuse it back together. I was only able to figure it out because there are many formulas missing from this experiment that would have been there had in my notes from the experiment.
Oh, wait a second. I did an investigation ability check in one game one time, and sometimes the imprint of the pen would be on the other piece of paper under the one that was written on.
That's an interesting point. There could be impressions from the writing on the next page that's still there.
Huh.
Oh, I'm Benjamin Bigsby, by the way. The second.
He's Eugene.
I was about to ask that very same question. Thank you, Raniel. If you're trying to pretend to be a Ledrithian, you're not doing a particularly good job, you should know.
What are you talking about?
Harold casts a quick message. Wasn't this just about tricking Susan?
Oh, that's right. I got a little too deep into the character, I guess. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not Benjamin Bigsby, and I take off the glasses. I'm Eugene.
Sergey slowly face palms.
In any case, If you want to try that pencil trick, you may. I didn't notice any impressions on the page, but I was mostly just given the formulas, and that's it from the Freelance Guild.
Well, I had another theory when I was told about the journal too. It might have been a plant altogether.
A plant?
I mean, because isn't it a little odd that a journal survives a fire?
No, I wasn't aware of the fire part of the details. Huh. That would explain why the formulas are all very similar to the experiment. At least so
Oh,
many other questions.
but I guess we can try those two things.
Why are you guys after Fluffle exactly?
We ran into him after exploring a mystery dungeon. It turns out he was responsible for what happened to me.
Gadriel is silent for a moment. He says, "What?"
Fleffel was responsible for this.
And a few of the tentacles pop out, just kind of wave at Gadiel.
I don't understand. I thought it was a freak accident.
I did as well. I thought it was my fault, but he said that it was his failure that caused me to be like this.
Seems he has associates too. There was a Fennekin with them that disintegrated another Pokemon.
The Delphox that is there pipes up for the first time and she says, "A Fennekin?"
Yes. He called he called himself Burst.
Harold pulls out that piece of Kalen's fleece, holds it in the palm of his hand, utters a couple of unintelligible words, and the fleece starts to look like it turns into like fog or mist, reshapes itself into a miniature version of Burst, which then falls on the ground and like retextures itself to look like him.
Yeah, like that.
The Delphox looks at that. Her eyes are wide and she says, "It can't be. That's Lon."
Does Reniel recognize that name?
It's odd for you. It sounds familiar, like something that's just scratching at the back of your head, but you can't really figure out why.
And you said his name was Lon?
Alan, Alan.
Alan.
Alan. We speak fancy here.
Hey, writing that down. Give me just a second.
Ooh. And I assume there's a relation.
He was my son, but several years ago he went missing.
Oh,
Last last I heard of him, he met with Mr. Fleffel, and since then he's gone.
What happened to me likely something similar to what happened to me likely happened to him.
I see. Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Adar. I came here because I heard something about Fluffle murdering someone, and I wanted to figure out if it has any relationship to what might have happened to Lon.
Well, you weren't far off.
Apparently. He's calling
Look,
himself Burst now?
Yes.
Let's see. Would you guys... I need a moment. She sorta
The,
walks
the
off.
illusion disappears and Harold pockets the fleece.
Okay, yeah, she sorta walks off. Well, I'm... don't really know what to say.
Do we know her from somewhere, Dad?
I met her once, and I think you might have met Alon once too. It was long, long time ago. We had to leave both of them to go on our travels. You knew him for 6 months, maybe? Did seem like you two were hitting it off, but after everything that happened, you didn't see him again. That was back when you were like 6, so I'm not surprised you don't remember.
Reniel looks like he's straining himself to try to remember, but he just can't.
I do not remember him at all.
It's unfortunate. That Nearly Ego probably scrambled your memories way more than we expected, or maybe you just simply forgot over the years. Could be a mix of both, honestly.
Possibly.
Anyways, if you're looking for more information about Fleffel and more information about what he might be doing, there's a particular book in the library further on. It's a book about sort of mystery dungeons and dimensional tears in general. I remember seeing it and remember thinking of it when we were looking into the experiment. I don't know how helpful it is to you, but you might want to try looking for it.
I think I might have seen that one before. There could be something I overlooked in there that could be helpful to us.
Alright. Good luck, you guys. And Reniel, I'm still searching for a way of helping you.
Thank you. I have one question for you.
Yes?
Where's Mom?
You just missed her. She went off to the place. You know the one. Near the river.
Ah, I see. It is probably for the best anyway. You know how she got whenever she was around me.
Yeah. There's a few researchers that are also going along there. We're hoping to find some sort of information or something among the wreckages and stuff there, so we don't know if it'll help or not, but we're still trying.
Reniel nods. Is there anything else we want to ask him, guys?
is the journal in there? Or
Um,
where's the journal at? It's on. Oh, it's on the crime scene. I forgot.
yeah, journals at the
Yeah.
crime scene.
Did you want to go see her, Renu?
I feel like there is some obligation that I should see her if I have the opportunity. I am her son, after all. However, she was always very disturbed around me, not being able to sense any emotion coming from me.
Yeah. I'm sorry for suggesting that. And
No, it is fine. Do not worry about it.
well, I guess we'll try and find that book and go check out the crime scene.
All right. He walks aside and lets you guys into the library.
All right. So is there like an index to find this thing, or do we have to meticulously look at the shelves?
Um, there is a few indexes, though you could tell that the researchers there are very scrambled in their organization.
Yeah.
There's no Dewey Decimal System here.
What's a Dewey? What's a Dewey Decimal? But it takes a bit. You see a lot of research material, a lot of reference material, and a bunch of stuff like that. Things seem things seem to be a bit of chaotic unorganization, but eventually you reach the section you were looking for, where the book is, but as you go over and as you look, there seems to be two Pokémon already looking at the book. One of them appears to be a Litten with a sort of archaeologist's hat on and a nice scarf and a couple of bags, and one of them is a Baniri with a mining helmet, wearing a light blue vest.
I see you two found your way here.
All right. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I would walk up to them and say, "Excuse me, can we see that?"
We're still reading it. Is there something in there you're looking for? Maybe I've read it already.
Rafa.
If I look around this library, is there like a little machine with a smeargle under glass who will like copy the book if I press it on the glass?
No.
Okay.
Anyways, as the Litten says that, the Baniri says, Rafa, you don't have to hog the book. You've read that how many times already?
4?
Then you could let him take a look.
But there's gotta be something we're missing.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Sorry about that. My friend's very, you know how it is. She likes to make sure her research is thorough.
Well, if you want, you can go end up in whatever space. Because we didn't research enough.
I get it, but we can't be the only ones using this library.
Yeah, we got important. I put on the quickly put on the glasses again. We have we have some important hypotheses and cross references to do with that book you currently hold in your hand.
Rafa takes off his glasses and says, Just ask your questions. I'm probably faster than the reading.
Okay. What did we want to know, guys, about these creatures and mystery dungeons, and they might be creating mystery dungeons?
Is there anything in there about creatures called ultra beasts?
Not exactly. It talks more about a tree that's supposed to prevent powerful distortions.
Am I familiar with anything like this, by the way?
Give me a history check to see if you passed over this while you were researching. Oh my gosh, the chat's going insane.
21.
Okay, you have read this book yourself, yes, and you're aware of what. In fact, you're very much aware of what this Litton is talking about. There's said to be a tree that used to prevent major distortions from happening around, or at least was rumored to prevent major distortions from happening around Lanwell. You're aware that the tree itself is called the Weirden Tree.
Uh, Presumably it doesn't exist anymore or something.
It's legend. Its last known appearances would have been a long time ago during the war, so whether it exists or not is a question in and of itself.
And does it say what happened to it, or is there any sort of legend to how it just vanished when the world needed it most?
Or ask that in character.
I'm more asking for like in Harold's reference to it.
Um, as of right now, or sorry, you with that roll, you don't remember exactly if there was any reference to what happened to it or anything like that because it was a legend in the first place.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I've heard of the Weirden tree. Just assuming it ever even existed in the first place.
be a little
I
better
don't
if we're
know.
not working off of legends and what might be just fiction.
I mean,
Oh, you should just assume that legends are real at this point.
I was about to say the same thing. It's not like legends might seem off, but sometimes it's all we've got to go on. Besides, if what we've heard of this tree is correct, it should probably exist.
What makes you say that?
Well, the tree kind of gets up and moves when it wants to. The only times people have talked about seeing it after some calamity or some sort is when a lot of people die. Supposedly it's collecting their souls and it keeps things stable.
Well, a fat load of good it seems to be doing at that lately.
But we can't seriously be considering this. I mean, this it's not this is the real world. It's not like there's just some like BBEG waiting in a tower for us and for us to go to the legendary tree to put in the legendary MacGuffins.
I'll file it away for consideration. And I agree that for the time being we need to focus on something more concrete.
So it uses the souls to stabilize the world?
Yeah.
From how I understand it, basically, like, the souls go there to be well, this is assumptions on my part, but it sounds like the soul's goal there to be reborn, and the only reason it appears is if there's like a great calamity or a great death or something, it appears due to the flood of souls heading towards it. At least that's my guess.
Oh, to get to another topic, does that thing say anything about Ultra Beasts and what happens if they um go in your brain, I guess?
Going brain?
Brain parasites? And you think that the legend is weird?
I was just about to say the same thing.
Oh, it is
It-
no legend. I am living proof of that.
Yeah, we could prove that. See?
If
Do your thing,
anything,
or-
you have an eye parasite.
Well, then explain this.
And several of the tentacles come out and look at Rafa.
Rafa just kind of blinks at him and is just like, I've seen worse.
Interesting. Do
I
tell.
don't envy you.
I don't recommend envying us.
And I thought that was bad enough. I don't want to know what you've been through.
Probably for the
Ooh.
best.
Who are you exactly if you've seen something weirder than that?
Adventurers.
Yeah, we're just part of a small group of adventurers.
I see.
And, well, we're, or at least Rafa here's looking for that tree.
Not
Why
sure
are
I'd
you
quite
looking
call
for
you.
it?
Oh, our reasons are our own.
You don't intend on trying to force it to appear, do you?
Heck no.
You mean killing a lot of people?
We're not. No.
Because that's the only thing that I see in the fine print, but if a lot of people die, I might walk in to see if it shows up.
I'd rather not have to rely on a plan that requires a lot of people dying personally.
I mean, if we're going by the right stanza, we're lining up for another calamity.
Hold on, what did you say?
Hold up, what?
What are they talking about?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
They're being
Alright.
vague, though. That means they're hiding something.
Alright, can we go back to that another calamity?
Well, what about it? The last
mean-
calamity was this great war over a century ago. That was the last supposed sighting of the tree. And the bad things happen when when I guess it gets thirsty.
Ah,
Souls? Look.
I don't think that
mean-
the tree itself causes the problems, but the problems happen and the tree shows up. It's a pattern.
Well, I'd say there's a schism between Ledrith Aaron and Caldwelch, but I wouldn't say things are that bad.
That
You
could
and I
change
both
very
know better
quickly.
than that.
Oh,
been not on the surface, but
well, I'd even go as far as say that, because outside of a few exceptions, yeah, there's
Let's
some.
see. If I wanted
things-
to sound really fancy about this, I'd say something like the seeds have already been sown or something.
Yeah, that's true, but I just there's some things we probably shouldn't talk about in front of these two important guild work.
Right.
Yeah, I
It
don't care
shakes
to
his head
know.
in irritation.
Is something wrong?
No.
Yep, see, they're finding Lucius. We don't need to go and help every single person we come across.
You don't, but I can't just stand by.
That's the problem.
Whatever. Strange question, but have any of you heard of a Pokemon called Hoopa before?
Have I?
Have I?
Have any of us?
Give me another history check.
I think I'm actually +4 in that.
This will be so funny if any of us actually manage to get this.
And yes, Chad, I meant schism, not shit. It's +4 history. Bada boom.
23.
I have not
7.
rolled over a 10 this whole session.
Don't worry, I felt that yesterday.
He did.
Hold up,
He
that
really
doesn't
did.
seem right. Okay, yeah, that's not supposed to have a modifier. I had to go double check. I was almost about to add a +3 when there was none.
I would have asked you how you got it. Okay.
Ouch!
Okay. Renial, you haven't heard of. Well, you're aware that Hoopa is supposedly like a mythical Pokemon, but beyond that, you don't really know much or anything about it. And from what you've heard, legendaries and mythicals aren't around Lanwell anymore. There's a legend that after the war, they all decided to just leave Lanwell behind and never return.
I have heard of Hoopa, but there is a legend that says that, well, the legends aren't around anymore. At least not here in Lanwell.
Huh.
You
Where you
wouldn't
guys-
even know where to look for him.
Where are you guys even from? You don't look like you're from Ledrith.
I'm from Ledrith.
I'm from
Renial's going
Welch.
to start. Renial's going to start detecting thoughts on Lucius.
Does Lucius look like he's from... I would assume that as someone from Caldwell, he doesn't look like anyone from Caldwell.
No, not particularly. Ruffa vaguely looks like she's from Ledrith, because she does look like she's familiar with research and stuff like that. Lucius, no, not even close. I mean, he might pass for like a minor in Aaron, but definitely doesn't look like he's from Caldwelch. Anyways, you said you were going to detect thoughts on Lucius?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Alright. So, you detect thoughts on him, and he's like... his thoughts basically are like... Not that they'd believe that we're actually from another world.
Oh, that is very interesting. So that is why you are looking for Hoopa.
What?
You probably would not believe me if I told you.
Well, we're talking about moving trees and they devour souls, so you're probably right.
Renial's interested, so he's going to try to dig deeper.
You're a jerk! Well, actually, I say that, but... Okay, what save is that again?
Wiz.
Okay.
Paladin time.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I say that, but actually, Wiz save plus Paladin aura buffs.
With
Yeah.
a negative wisdom modifier.
The negative wisdom modifier ain't gonna matter
But you
here.
still have proficiency and all
He's
that.
gonna roll a nat 1.
I'd laugh so hard if I did.
Oh, man.
What's your save DC?
15.
He passed.
He rolled a 15.
So, yeah, he eventually his eyes widen and he's like, and he whispers, Rafa, they're trying to read our mind.
Oh, that was just me. I was very interested in knowing more about where you come from.
Ren, y'all don't pry into. Ugh. Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Do you really think they would have told us if we had just asked?
No, but some secrets are better left kept. I think the way.
Honestly, I'm not even surprised anymore.
I don't know. It is a very interesting scientific opportunity to learn about a new world.
Well,
Wait, what?
Isn't that what we're trying to figure it out? Figure out those ultra beasts are from another world or universe?
Yes, but it would be much easier to simply learn about another universe by being told about it.
You're implying that.
I don't know what Ultra Beasts are.
Looking for Ultra Beasts, we don't know nothing about them. Our research is on either Hoop or that tree.
Look, we're kind of wasting our time interrogating these two for no reason.
I have to agree.
Hang on, I feel like there's something we need to be asking them and we're just not picking up on it. Give me a second.
He's like, I'm trying to read the Rafa book for the 4th time.
Well, maybe when you're done with that book, you could just hand it to us. I mean, you said you read it 4 times.
I did. All the questions you've asked, I've answered, but yeah, maybe I'll put it back on the shelf after the 5th time.
Rafa, kids
I
just...
mean, it's not like they'd be able to find. Well, I guess that's kind of true. They wouldn't be able to find it on the shelf. The organization in this place is awful.
Okay, one more. Does it say anything about these ultra beasts or creating mystery dungeons? Is there anything on that topic?
The closest we get is powerful distortions. That could be maybe these ultra potatoes growing themselves or whatever you're going on about. Or it could be mystery dungeons. It's a vague term.
I honestly thought it was just mystery dungeons that I was talking about, but...
The two terms are typically used interchangeably, though that could be modern convention.
If it's related to those Ultra Beast things that you're looking at, then I suppose if you really want the book, you should be able to grab it, Rafa.
I do have it.
That's not what I meant, and you know it.
I think we have other leads to follow up on.
Yeah, we have to go look at the crime scene. I mean, the scene of the crime, or the... I don't know if we're supposed to be keeping that a secret. I'm sorry.
Yep, that's right. You probably have your own things to go deal with. Go save your own world. Have fun.
We're not saving the world.
Oh, sure you're not.
I'll try and get Rafa off the books maybe by tomorrow. So try coming back then and getting it.
So we really do have to wait till tomorrow.
At least for the book.
Yeah, and Chad, too.
Sorry, I'd get it to you today, but unless you want to try prying it from her, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Look, could we maybe read it together? I mean, you're going through it.
I suppose you could do that.
Is there like a table to sit down?
I mean, I'm assuming Rafa's already at a table.
Oh no, you're right at the bookshelf next to where it comes from.
Speed reading.
Yeah, I
Doesn't even
believe it'd
bother
be
going to
really
think of-
awkward. I'm still like going through the pages and you're already flipping it.
Reading at 2 different speeds. One of them is very anxious to move to the next page and is still waiting.
Yeah, so you all walk to a table, you put the table on, or you put the book, you put the table on the desk, you put the book on the table, and yeah, you attempt to read it together, but this Litton keeps speed reading, rushing through it, and then flipping the page long before any of you are able to keep pace with her.
Wait, careful, there might be some pages stuck together. That was an adventure hook in my last game.
Oh, I wouldn't know if there are pages stuck together.
Well, maybe you didn't look hard enough. You're reading too fast.
I am reading it.
Too fast. I'm not even done like half a page yet.
We're wasting our time here. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm like, if you write a research paper, you get really good at getting the good stuff.
For the
He is
love
correct.
Let's go check out the
Yeah,
place that I already ruined.
yeah, come back tomorrow. I'll try and make sure you guys get the book by then.
Best of luck with whatever it is you two are doing, as long as it doesn't involve. Harold gives Rafa a very concerned look.
No,
Actually, trying to get the tree here.
no, we're not going to be doing anything like that.
But if the tree happens to show up, I will go there.
Fine, if the tree happens to show up for some reason or another, we might go see it, but otherwise, no, we're not going to be doing anything to cause the tree to appear.
Harold just walks out without another word, just kind of shaking his head like, what even is this now?
Okay, well, there's
we
another
clearly
lead.
missed.
There's another lead squandered.
You two go ahead. I wish to tell these two something before I leave.
We're probably going to go to the crime scene.
Oh, I will not be long.
Okay. So, aside from Reniel, I think we're going to head out to the crime scene. We're probably going to have to... I'll probably tell Reniel, if you don't know where it is, maybe just go ask that Medicham in the guild where it is. And
You guys were given directions of where it is.
okay.
Not
Yeah,
to mention Reniel's a native, so he probably knows how to get there anyway.
all right. Yeah, that's where we'll head.
Okay. Once they're gone, Reniel is going to look at them and he's going to say,
If you would like some help trying to get home, my father is on the 3rd floor. Look for an Espeon named Gadiel. Perhaps you can cross-reference notes with him and he could give you a lead.
That could be useful.
Oh, so now you're finally going to stop being so isolationist?
This is business only. I'm not here to make friends. Neither are you.
Yeah.
You should make friends wherever you go. Not everyone is lucky enough to get them.
Well, how would you like to never see them again and get attached to somewhere you could never live?
Oh, I know the feeling. Anyway, good luck getting home.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with your eye therapy or whatever. But thanks.
Thank you.
I don't
Out
think
Out of
he has...
character. Reniel just said the word, I know how you feel.
mm-hmm.
That is not true. He does not feel.
It's very hard to describe lack of emotion when we as human beings are pre-programmed with emotion, and
Yeah.
I have been in Renial mode before.
Anyways,
just because he does not feel now does not mean that he has not felt before.
You could still explain it by saying that, even though that's not exactly
Mhm.
accurate. It's just more of a
You're not-
closest
you're right,
term. I know, I'm just saying.
And then
anyway.
Renial's going to leave them to what they're doing.
So
Okay.
it was out of character. I'm not actually talking in the voice.
I know.
All right. Anyways, so you all eventually leave the building with the bunny Aries telling you that hopefully he'll be able to get you the book by tomorrow. And you eventually begin making your way to Elizabeth's house. Raniel eventually catches up with you after a few minutes, and you see it. It is in the... Yeah, it is in the south side of the village at about 7 o'clock. And you see that the house from the outside looks fairly normal. Door is closed and sturdy. Windows seem to be surprisingly not shattered at the very least. And it does appear to be just a normal stone house. But as you look in the inside, you see basically what looks like a war zone.
Is that directions here too? It's just like go to 7 o'clock street. You'll get there.
Go to 7 o'clock street at about 12:45.
Yeah.
Oh no, imagine all the times are
7th
also
Street,
appropriate to win.
7th Street, 54th Avenue.
Yes, exactly.
You end up going down the wrong street at the wrong time because the shadows aren't correct.
People get lost just by saying like, "Oh, what time is it?" And someone just catches like, "Oh, go to 2 or 4:45."
Oh, I made it
The
a basic
nightmare.
town.
All right. So is there like police tape or is there people here watching?
There is nobody there watching, though the door does have a civilians keep out notice on it.
All right. Well,
That's not us.
I guess we can go check out the crime scene. I really hope they moved the body because I don't want to look at a dead body.
Wait, how long ago was this crime?
It's fairly recent. You were told it happened while you guys were while you guys were traveling to Trophanel, so happened about a week ago.
All right.
All right. We'll go inside.
Okay, so you go inside, and as you see, it is, as the note suggested, it is an absolute mess. You see black marks across the floor, wall, stains, ashes, a whole bunch of stuff. Though oddly, in the middle of all that stuff, you see a perfectly preserved blue book that does not seem to have any soot or ash or anything like it on it. And you see a chalk outline in the, not in the center of the room, but sort of near, from the entrance, sort of near the left side of the room. You see a chalk outline in the shape of a Gardevoir on the ground. You see that there is a doorway leading to a kitchen dining room area that, aside from a few scorch marks, seems to be mostly untouched. And you see a staircase leading to a bedroom that similarly looks mostly untouched.
Is any of the like ground or furniture or anything around the book burned, or is there like this safe zone in the middle of the room?
You notice that there's no furniture. The table itself that it's on seems to be fine. but you see like scorch marks nearby. Like you see the table, and then to the left and right you see scorch marks.
Hmm.
Well, if I know one thing is when you make investigation checks that have to do with fire, you figure out where the fire started. So doing that, I'm gonna look for where kind of it seems heavily scorched to maybe pinpoint where the fire originated from, or the explosion is what it's looking like.
Interesting. I was kind of hoping you'd do that. Roll investigation.
Okay,
Can
Parser, you
I
like?
can I give the help action?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I
Are
have
you
a
gonna
plus.
have Reniel give guidance?
Reniel doesn't have guidance
Why not?
No.
D20 plus 4.
because he's not Raz.
Oh, I didn't take that.
Okay, there we go. I got a 19.
Oh, I did take
Okay.
that.
So yeah, with Harold's help, as you investigate, you see that oddly enough, the scorch marks that are nearest to the body, that are near the body, specifically, it appears like it came from the wall.
The wall.
Yes, the wall right in front of the body, sort of where the feet of the body would be facing. You see scorch marks on there as if something from the wall caused the Gardevoir to cause the explosion and cause the Gardevoir to collapse and become electrocuted.
Hmm. And it's a stone wall.
It is a stone wall, yeah, so it is fairly odd that you'd see so much scorching and so much remnant of electricity there. There does not appear to be any machines there either.
Is there anything on the other side of the wall, like another room, or is it just like a wall from the outside of the house?
It's a wall from the outside of the house.
Okay.
And as
Is
I
there a
noted
window
before, the
on the wall?
outside... Oh, sorry.
Is there a window on that wall?
There's not a window on this specific wall.
Can I try to go around to the outside of the house to where that wall is? See from the other side?
Yeah, you can. You do so, and there's no indication of anything from that side of the wall.
Interesting.
I don't know if we know this information, but when she was electrocuted, was she facing the wall or was she looking away from it?
Based on the chalk line, you imagine that she was most likely facing the wall based on sort of how her paws would be positioned and sort of intrinsic shapes of the body that would be different. So you imagine she was likely facing the wall and was blown back based on the chalk outline.
Okay. Next course of action is, are there any like remnants of any sort of chalk or any sort of residue from some sort of writing apparatus on either side of the wall? That's what I want to look for.
Okay. Chalk residue, roll me another investigation check.
14.
You see, on that wall, you see remnants of something. You're not entirely certain if it's chalk, but you do see residue of something on there that isn't just the scorch and soot.
Like what color is it, and like what's kind of its texture?
Its texture is very powdery,
It's
and
not chalk.
its color is sort of brownish.
I found something here. There was something. Is it on the inside of the wall or the outside? Like outside.
Sorry about that. I somehow activated the thing.
The thing.
I'll explain after stream. Okay, anyways, what were you saying?
So was this on the inside, the interior of the house, or on the exterior?
Interior.
Okay, yeah, I'll usher everyone over and show them what I found. This strange, powdery brown substance. Does it have an odor?
It does not.
Crap, I forgot to bring like a container to put a sample in or something. Hold on. I'm sure they've already looked at it.
I've got a cup of dirty deck. I've got an empty cup of dirty deck water. If you want to put it
You
in
have to
that.
get rid of the deck water.
He's already.
I have a bottle to put it in.
Yeah, we don't want it getting contaminated with deck water residue.
Okay.
Reniel, could you try telekinetically lifting up that diary journal and see if the table under it looks like it was burned?
I'm way ahead of you.
And he's pretty much already got it floating over to him. Or the book, anyway.
Okay, yep, you see the table under it is, there's ashes and burn marks on the table under it.
This journal was planted.
Yeah, Renul's flipping the journal over and looking at all sides of it to see if it's pristine or if it has any signs of scorching on it as well.
It is pristine.
I would like to take note of the writing in it. Not necessarily what it's about, but the penmanship.
Yeah, Renul opens the book and lowers it down so that everyone can look inside of it.
Okay. Yeah, you get a pretty good look of the penmanship.
And I'm going to look around her room or anywhere where she might have put a little note to herself, like a shopping list or just a little diary or something. Just something I can find that she may have written.
Okay. Give me...
Can I make a quick question right away just for clarification?
Sure.
You said directly underneath the book had scorching on it, right?
I mean on the table, yeah.
Okay, so directly underneath the book on the table. Okay, got it.
Okay. So the book is essentially sitting on top of a scorch mark, but the book is fine.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Continue.
That's okay.
Okay, so you're looking into her room.
Yeah, just trying to find any loose pieces of paper that she might have written. Just like anything, like a shopping list, a diary, or anything.
Okay, give me an investigation check for room.
Okay. I'll call out to the party members to tell them to try and find something like that too.
Yeah.
Okay, Renul will look around for it.
No! I got a 6. I didn't find anything.
Which is very good that you called the party over.
Ah, jeez.
Alright, so are we all making it, or are we just giving him advantage?
You're all making it. I assume you're all...
I'm going to cast Enhance Ability on myself and choose Intelligence.
Yeah, I was about to suggest I could do the same thing.
Cheating the system, are we? Very well, do so.
Hey, I have spells. I'm going to use them.
I was just about to say, your party's looking like they kind of need the help anyways.
Yeah, do you think I should also use mine and do the same thing?
Let's see.
not.
That's an artificial 20 for me.
Well. You said this is an investigation check?
Yeah, do you want to, or do you want to trust Harold's artificial 20?
I'm still going to make the roll for it, just not with advantage, because I'm not going to cast the spell, so this is just a nat 20.
Okay.
Or excuse me, not nat, just rolling a 20.
Okay. Everyone else, this room looks like a room. Harold, you look through, and you eventually find a hidden... In one of her drawers, there's a hidden compartment, and in it you find an actual journal that looks basically exactly the same. Well, the outside looks exactly the same as the one that... as the other journal that you found in the room. However, as you open it up, the penmanship and writing looks entirely different.
Does the general nature of the contents look similar?
It does not at all.
What kind of stuff seems to be written in here?
Okay, so you open the journal and you look through.
I'm going to call everyone around, by the way.
Okay. So yeah, what you see is this journal seems to be written from Elizabeth's perspective, and it depicts basically a diary of her meeting with Fleffel, and apparently, according to this journal, he was assisting her in increasing her power to distort space that apparently Gardevoirs had once upon a time naturally had the ability to do, but it had since been stunted. However, Fluffle seems to imply that while it used to be stunted, it's becoming more and more possible because, according to him, she wrote this down in his words, things are changing and the impossible is becoming possible. So, the experiments increasing her power seem to be going well, and the diary ends with her saying that she's finally going to open a portal to an entirely different world. And she notes that Fluffle seems to be odd right now, mentioning that she's hoping she is susceptible to something, but he didn't elaborate on what he was hoping for. And that is the last thing written in the journal.
Okay, give me a second as I make notes on this.
Yeah, okay.
Harold is pulling out his own notebook and making notes on this.
Rainiel's probably pointing out specific details to him because he's also, invested in this.
I'm gonna look back downstairs, and I think Fleffel may not have done it. I think she might have opened up a portal and something attacked her.
That was what I was thinking.
That is also what I got out of it.
Question is, did whatever attacker get out?
The other possibility is it went wrong and she got herself killed.
But that still doesn't explain where the planted journal came from.
It doesn't.
We should dust it for fingerprints. That is why I have been specifically handling it with Mage Hand.
Yeah, do we have the tools to do that?
I
have some flour if you want to use that.
I was just about to say, how exactly are you going to be dusting for fingerprints?
Flour works. Flour works.
Okay, well, we could use some flour, I guess. I pull up the bag of holding, and then I just get this giant sack of flour out of it.
Oh my
We do not need
gosh.
that much flour.
Is this like the same? Or actually, wait, you have the chalk too. That could also work.
yeah, it's all crushed up. I guess we could use that too. So I put the the flour back inside the bag of holding, and I pull out my chalk pouch. And do we have a brush? Oh wait, I have my miniature set. I could use my miniature painting brush.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, it works.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so using the combination of your chalk and your painting set's brush, you managed to get whatever the Pokemon equivalent of fingerprints would be on this journal.
We're doing it on the fake one, might I add.
Yeah, on the fake one. You do see there is certainly something on there.
Okay. I guess another thing we should look out for is in the real journal, if there is like a symbol or some sort of shape of a like a like a pentacle or something.
Yes, you see a pentagram in there and learn she was summoning Satan. No.
Yeah. Or just something akin to that she might have drawn on the wall.
Interesting.
If there is, there doesn't seem to be any reference to it in her journal.
Okay. Another thing we could look out for is maybe the culprit left footprints of some kind.
You know, it's what the idea with the journal was.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any particular place you're looking for paw print, footprints, or whatever?
Close to the wall that Elizabeth was next to.
Yeah. And I'd say probably around where the journal was dropped. Maybe on the ceiling. Maybe it was dropped from the ceiling.
Hmm. I
Mm,
imagine it might be a bit difficult given we've also had all our footprints in here now.
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, the ceiling.
Well, are you just gonna look to check in to see if there's any like in the dust or anything, or is there anything special you're gonna do?
I would imagine mostly just check in the dust.
Yeah.
Maybe if any. I was gonna say if it looks like anything left, but I bet too many people have been in and out of here to make anything out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We
Whatever's on
can
the
check though.
whatever's on the real journal, I don't know if we got anything out of that. Or the fake journal, any prints on the fake journal.
Oh, I said you did. You just probably would not be able to recognize what sort of prints they are.
Okay. I will
Okay.
make note of that alongside of the penmanship. I'm still keeping the penmanship in my mind.
So
Okay.
I want to attempt to. Well, I don't know if I can suggest this. This is a bit beyond Sergei's scope, but
It's not like it's too unusual to suggest something that your character may or may not do it.
right. So if we wanted to essentially transpose the fingerprint, can't we sort of like get a sheet that's like slightly wet and then push that against the chalk to sort of pull it off?
Yeah. Do we have tape in this universe?
I mean, I said she has an outline.
Oh, yeah.
There's an outline of her on the ground, so. Do you want to
I
steal?
thought the outline was. Never mind, go on.
Oh, right. Yeah, the outline is chalk, though.
Yeah. Does she have any tape lying around?
I'll just say, yeah, she probably has some tape in her room or something.
Okay. Well, are there lots of fingerprints on this journal, or is there a specific set?
There's actually very little, and it's only on the front. There's none on the back.
Are they the same ones?
Yes.
Okay. Then we'll take it.
Okay.
We'll take one of.
All right.
Who wants to hold the tape evidence?
I will, I guess.
All right.
Okay. Anyways, as for footprints, I'm gonna be very specific about this. Who is investigating footprints where? I'm only gonna give you each one check, and you have to decide where you're searching for footprints.
I am going to check right next to the wall.
Yeah, we'll have
I'm
him do that.
curious about checking near her desk, wherever this secret compartment was.
Now that's upstairs. There's nothing on the ground that would leave footprints.
Okay.
I'm gonna look on the ceiling.
Okay.
Breniel will look around the table.
Sergey?
That was my idea shot. So I guess I mean, one person checking the ceiling is probably good enough. Eugene, you said you're checking the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use enhance ability on you.
Okay, that's advantage.
That's going to be on int checks, so that'll be an advantage.
All right, cool. Thank you.
And then I guess I'm just gonna check around this table
Okay.
where the journal is, the fake one.
Okay.
So are you gonna give Reniel the help action then?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, Harold, we'll do this in order. Harold, you roll first.
Ooh.
19.
Okay. I'll tell you what that got you in a bit. Eugene?
Oh.
You
that was
have to
wrong.
put the D.
Whoops.
I was gonna roll 2D.
So that's the first one.
Okay, I'll take the 22.
Okay, and Reniel with help.
Oh.
Ugh. 13.
Okay. Harold, you do manage to discern paw prints that don't look like any of yours, though it looks very odd. It looks like two sort of thin strips that are sort of split apart. They're very long, but it doesn't look like it had any like paw stubs or anything like that. It just looks like two thin strips were in front of this wall. It managed to barely walk away, and then the prints fade away. It did not get much further than just the wall itself.
I'm gonna, draw a sketch of the prints.
And the prints look entirely unlike any Pokemon you've ever seen.
Alright.
Anyways, Eugene, that was a very fun idea. So kudos for thinking it, but there's nothing on the ceiling.
Okay.
And Rainiel, as you can imagine, you saw nothing.
Okay.
I think, assuming Harold shares this information and shows
Yeah.
us, what if the Gardevoir isn't dead?
They presumably have her body.
Yeah, presumably.
Do you want to check with the mortician?
No.
Do you want me to check with the mortician?
Yeah, I don't think I could handle it, but it might be a fake body. That's what I'm thinking. Or I hope it's not this. This might be a cover-up.
All right. Do we know? Well, Reniel would know where they keep bodies, I guess.
Morgue.
Maybe. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, the morgue. He knows where the morgue is, right?
Yeah, he would. We'll not ask why Rainiel knows where it is, but he would know where it is. Anyways, I'll quickly tell you that you go over and you ask the mortician, and they don't have a positive ID on that body being Elizabeth necessarily, if you're skeptical about that, but it is certainly a female Gardevoir body that they have. And they were dressed in Elizabeth's things. But this world does not have advanced enough DNA testing to confirm or deny any of that.
Okay, and it does look electrocuted.
It does look electrocuted, yes.
Okay. Renya will just relay that they have a Gardevoir body that is dressed in her clothing. However, they do not have a positive ID.
Well,
Well, we've got a few clues, I guess. Did we want to do anything else at that house?
Do you?
the age-old DM question: did we miss something?
If we
I don't
did,
know.
we can always come back.
Yeah.
We got the prints, so
Yeah.
that and the journal. Like those are the two big things I imagine that should at least give us some leeway. So
The question is, are we going to share that we found that journal that they obviously missed?
I don't know. Do we?
Renya would definitely tell his dad, because if this journal was planted and that's where he got the formulas from, the formulas could be dangerous.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe let's go tell your father about this.
Renya nods.
And maybe let's just keep it to him.
Okay. You do that. You go and inform Gadriel, or how do you pronounce his name?
Gadiel.
Gadiel. I'm probably thinking of the angel, and that's why I say that. You inform Gadiel of that, and inform him to be careful. And is there anything else you plan on doing? By now it's about evening.
We're going to show him the real journal. Or were we going to show him the real journal? Is there formulas in there?
There is not.
Okay, it's just like a personal journal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, he wouldn't have any need to know for that sort of thing.
all right.
Right.
I guess we're gonna go back to the Ledrith Guild and maybe reflect on the information we gathered and wait till tomorrow.
Yep.
I
Is that
was thinking we could go see the Delvers.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, we got lost
Right,
in all these other things. And weren't we gonna go see like Renyl's mother too?
I thought the idea was that it might not have been as good an idea to see her unless Renyel, you specifically wanted to.
Renya would probably go off and see her on his own.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we can go see the Delvers then.
Okay. Alright. Then, you all follow Harold, and Harold, you basically do what you just did earlier this episode.
Yeah, so Harold leads everybody through these back alley passages, and eventually they come across this wall with kind of this weird-looking indentation in it.
Gonna put like blindfolds on us.
No. And he pulls out this badge, but it's not his Freelance Guild badge. It looks different. He sticks it in this little indentation, and basically the wall opens up. And we walk into what looks like, you described it as like an office or something, right, Sonic?
Yeah, a rundown, sort of beaten up office, like one that's probably been abandoned for years.
And then Harold goes over to a bookshelf, and he does the usual, pull out the book and click it to activate the hidden switch behind the bookcase. And inside of there is a lab setup, and I'll let Sonic Link take over.
Yep. So you walk in, you see this large lab setup. You've got there's a few consoles there, a few equipment that seems very advanced. Like, Randall, you've seen similar equipment set up before, But to the rest of you, it is very advanced. It's mostly stuff only seen in Ledrith. And as you walk in, you see a group of Pokemon. You see a Frostlass, a Decidueye, a Ninetales, and a Ranunculus. The Frostlass looks over to your group and she gives a bow and she says, "Welcome to the Delvers, Harold's friends."
I'll let you all introduce yourselves, Harold says, looking to the rest of the party.
I am
I'm-
Renyel.
My name is Eugene.
Sergey.
Very well. Reniel, Eugene, Sergey. My name is Christelle, and I am the leader of the Delvers. The Decidueye says, "My name is Robert, and I'm our second in command." The Ninetales over there is Ave. She's the lead researcher. And the Ranunculus says, "My name is Drasira, and I am part-time researcher, and I'm also one of our rescuers." The Frostless says, "We also have a few others. Tarek, who's a Surfetched, who is another rescuer, and he's currently out at the moment. And we have a courier and a rescuer named Ricky, who's an Excelgor." Now then, I'm sure you all have a number of questions here. Would you like to ask them, or would you like me to give you an overview of who we are and what we stand for first? I'm sure Harold has already told you, but it might be nice to hear it from our lips.
Well, he gave us the rundown, but I think the question that's on my mind is, what do you want with us?
From you all, the only thing we would ask of you is secrecy about our existence and where we currently are. Whether you agree or disagree with our cause is up to you. We merely intend on eliminating these distortions that threaten our world, and we also want the Freelance Guild to be brought to justice for the corruption that they sow, or at least those of us who believe in that corruption, which you'll find is a lot of us. Beyond that, we do not intend on threatening you. We will harbor no ill will just because you have joined the guild. After all, there are many who are good-hearted and believe that the guild is a means to help Pokémon in need, and to those we do not bear any ill will. The only ones in the guild who we are against are those who wish to facilitate power and who intend on abusing that power, using the gap of power after the war and the sudden influence of mystery dungeons that came about after it.
Do you think the guild is responsible for those?
The Decidueye says, "I'm almost certain of it. Their influx and the guild's power both have correlated." However, Christelle shakes her head and she says, "With that, we do not have proof beyond correlation that they are, though we do have reason to believe that the guild is corrupt."
In what way?
We believe that the guild is facilitating power. As I'm sure you're well aware, they are... Sorry?
Harold kind of raises a hand, sort of asking for permission to answer.
Oh, Harold, you may speak.
Whether they're actually responsible for the origin of Mystery Dungeons is, well, as I've said, I'm personally doubtful, but we do believe that they are opportunists who exploit Mystery Dungeons for their own gain. They lure young would-be adventurers in with promises of fame and excitement, while putting them and their very being in grave danger for their own profits.
Indeed. There are many who have, I will not name names, but many of us have ties with the Freelance Guild, and those ties were severed when we lost people to mystery dungeons that the Freelance Guild sent them to.
Sergey just kind of thinks over and then looks over to Eugene, thinking about their earlier conversation before arriving here.
Yeah. Eugene doesn't respond because like he doesn't really have anything to say because they're pretty much echoing exactly what he was just losing his temper over.
We've been hearing a lot about possible corruption as of late, haven't we? I don't know if I would go as far as saying that the Freelance Guild has been making mystery dungeons. If anything, well, I think we've seen it ourselves. There's possibly more of that than the freelance. If any, I would be more worried about other possible influences. But I can't say I don't have my doubts.
Given what we've seen lately, I'm inclined to agree with you. For the time being, I think our priority isn't the guild itself, but rather the dungeons and Fluffwell.
Do you all know anything about Fluffwell?
We are aware of his experiments that he has done, including the very one that afflicted you with the Nihilego. Beyond that, we don't know much more, though we do intend on putting our efforts into looking into it and seeing what we can learn. According to what we've gathered, the little we have, he has been across across Lanwell, visiting random places, meeting with random Pokémon, and there are many disappearances and many failed experiments to his name. We believed it was all in the process of creating artificial mystery dungeons. Though, based on Harold's report, there may be much more to it than we even envisioned.
We've been investigating. I don't know what to classify it as, but apparently there was a Gardevoir dead in her house earlier this week, and something rubs me the wrong way about it. And they say there's a body, but it's looking like she was in contact with Fleffel. Would there be any way that would be possible that she's still alive, but working alongside him?
Possibility? Do you believe the body itself is a fake in some way?
I thought so, but apparently there's no way to identify it. But my friend here went to the morgue and it was a female Gardevoir. Don't know if it was the one that died, but
It would be rather abhorrent, but depending on how scarred the body was, If they just grabbed any old female Gardevoir and scarred it up and placed it in her belongings, it's very possible they might have created a fake to throw off your guild.
We
So
don't
when-
have much in the way of evidence that Elizabeth's body is fake, but we do have very substantial evidence that the journal left in her front room was planted. I don't know how familiar you are with Elizabeth's case.
We've heard of it, though, as you can imagine, we haven't been able to look into it ourselves. The Freelance Guild, until just recently, has been in and out, and any attempts on looking in would have been dangerous for us.
We were able to investigate her house. Oddly, despite the widespread destruction in her front room, her journal seemed to be largely intact. We discovered, however, that she kept an additional journal, and Harold's going to pull out the one he found in her drawer. That seems to be the genuine article. The handwriting in here is markedly different from the one found in her front room. And it appears that rather than attempting to use any sort of formula to generate the portal that she was trying to produce, she was attempting to use natural abilities unique to her own species.
That is a very dangerous thing to do.
We suspect that she succeeded, that something came through, and that's how she died. And Harold will show the sketches he made of the prints. These don't correspond to any Pokemon I'm familiar with, but I'm not an expert on footprints. I don't know if any of you can identify them.
She takes the footprint marking and they hand it around each other, and after a bit, they all agree that it's not any Pokemon any of them are familiar with.
But the strangest part is they just disappear. And I doubt whatever came out of that portal planted a fake journal.
If we do not have enough evidence yet, but if I were to bet, based on your reports, is likely this has something to do with these Ultra Beasts that Fluffle is interested in.
That was my assumption as well. If they can't exist in this plane of existence outside of dungeons, it would explain why the footprints disappeared.
Perhaps Fluffle thought the Gardevoir might have been able to bypass their inability of appearing in this realm.
Perhaps the host is needed.
He mentioned there's a line in her journal about Fluffle hoping she was susceptible to something. I think that's correct. His intention was that Elizabeth would serve as this Ultra Beast's host.
So, in other words, Fluffle right now is gathering hosts for these Ultra Beasts. That burst you mentioned, Reniel, and now Elizabeth.
Don't know what he's trying to do at this point, but
Think there's any way we could track down Fliffle?
Well, That there is a possibility, but it is difficult for us to do. Christelle points to the console that Ava's been staring at for a while, and she says, "This right here is a special device. We normally use it to keep an eye on the Lake of Magic and see what distortions are in there. The Lake of Magic is the mystery dungeon that we intend to first purge because it is the one closest to here and the one we can most easily monitor. But with it, we can also otherwise expand its reach and find and look at distortions all across Ledrith itself. If Fliffle is using these distortions for his own ends, then perhaps by expanding our search throughout all of Ledrith, we might be able to catch him. Though we can't expand it beyond the borders of Ledrith, and even then we can't get all of Ledrith.
Harold's going to use minor illusion to create an image of the. We all know it's an ultra wormhole that Fluff will disappeared through. Seems to be traveling through these.
If we hear of any eyewitnesses of those portals, then we could use that, though that portal is the same one that also appeared when the Nihilego attacked after Gadiel's first failed experiment. So we do at least know about what sort of framework those distortions make within our device. So if we tune our device to focus on those distortions, then we should be able to tell you if one of them appears somewhere. Though once again, our reach only extends across Ledrith.
There be any way to expand it?
We may not need to. Everyone he's targeted so far has been in Ledrith, at least as far as we know.
Right.
I don't believe that to be entirely the case. He was, at one point in time, in Snowsea for some reason. We don't know who or what he targeted there, but if anytime he makes an appearance, something like this happens, and if that correlation means he was looking for a target, then likely someone from Snowsea is also one of his hosts for these Ultra Beasts.
Is there any way we can expand it?
We will have to look into possible ways of doing that. But what we'll need is some sort of powerful magical catalyst. Something that can be used to send a signal from here across the entirety of Lanwell.
If you need me to do it, I'll do it.
Do you have an idea of something that could be useful?
Well, whatever you're using to monitor Ledrith, we can expand somehow if we're allowed in the other regions.
Let me explain. We don't have anything in Ledrith specifically. It's just that our console is powerful enough that it's able to keep an eye on distortions through all of Ledrith. We don't have anything specific we're using for that. What we would need is we would need something that's able to send magical signals, or at least could be the catalyst of something to send magical signals. And we would need to plant those across the entirety of Lanwell.
Would these be sufficient?
And Renewal's tentacles pop out, and each one is holding the little red rock fragments.
Stella looks at them and she says, "What are those?"
I sent a sample of them in earlier.
Oh, right. Right. Now I remember. Ave? The Ninetales looks up from their console and she says, "Oh, right. Those red rocks. What about them? Sorry, I've been focusing."
Would they serve as catalysts that could expand the range of your monitoring for distortions?
Huh. We did notice that they hold strong magical properties in them. I do believe with the right sort of spell and the right sort of equipment, it is possible we could use them as catalysts. How many do you have?
21.
Okay, that should be easily enough. I believe we should only need 10 to 12, including the one that you sent us already, Harold.
Alright. Renewal will begrudgingly hand over 11 of them.
Alright. I'll get right on that and I'll get you a map of where best to put them, though you'll likely need to be careful. I doubt the Freelance Guild is exactly going to be willing to let you just put down a bunch of rocks everywhere.
Don't worry, I don't care what
As
they
far
say.
as we understand. I mean, these are rocks from mystery dungeons, so
You don't think they still have any potential to create additional dungeons, do you?
These rocks appear to be inert. I don't believe they can create or do any of the things that they used to. In fact, if I manage to create them as catalysts, then that will be all they're able to do, is be used as catalysts.
Oh, speaking of. Odd question. Does anybody here happen to have a scroll of identify? In the event that we run into any of these crystals in their raw form, I would like to be able to cast that spell to figure out exactly what they are. I'm afraid I don't know it.
Ave, if you wouldn't mind. Ave nods and she says, "I'll give it to you when I give you the crystals by tomorrow."
Thank you.
Now then, I once again must ask the rest of you to please keep us secret, and we will do our best to help you find Fleffel and do
Sorry.
our it's okay, and do our best to find you any information of what Fleffel is doing as possible. We believe we believe that oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Oh, now I remember. Once the crystals are all placed in the right spots, we will be able to send Ricky to you guys, and he will inform you the instant we notice something.
I won't tell.
I will not tell either. However, I must mention that we are staying in the guild at the Ledrith branch of the Freelance Guild. Shad is the leader, and obviously he's an Alakazam. I cannot guarantee that we will be able to keep any secrets if he decides to probe our minds.
Do you believe he has any reason to probe your mind?
No, but all it takes is curiosity.
One thing I should note. Before we left Misty Gales, Thornton did warn us about this organization. He clearly is unaware of my affiliation with you, but I worry that the guild is beginning to catch on.
Doesn't surprise me. We'll have to be careful. It may also be prudent for us to attempt to move this base somewhere else. We'll have to focus on that in the coming days. That way, even if Shad does end up taking it from her mind due to suspicion or curiosity, then we'll at least be prepared to move out, though that means you yourselves will be in danger. I would recommend steeling your minds and doing your best to avoid any and all thoughts or conversations of what happened here.
As long
Al
as you
gives a
help us-
nod.
As long as you plan on helping us.
We do. Fleffel represents a greater threat. We ourselves have very good reason to not allow him to keep doing what he's doing, especially if he is assisting in the creation of these distortions. For now, that is all we can do. We will give you the map and give you the crystals tomorrow for you guys to be able to spread about, and we will see if we can track Fluffle down.
That would be appreciated.
Very well.
I have a few things I would like to bring up. First of all,
And he takes out his probably inert gray orb and he gives it to them and says,
we got this in a mystery dungeon. I do not believe it is important, but it may be of some use to you, at least intellectually.
We'll have to do some research on it. Thank you.
Next, have you heard of the Werden tree?
Ah, that fairy tale. Yes, we are aware of it.
Do you believe there is any truth to it?
Robert says it's possible. We did look into it, but the fact that these distortions are happening suggests that if it does exist, it is more than likely at best dying and at worst already dead.
And finally, is my father part of your organization?
He is not, no.
Nor my mother?
Nor is she. I'm
Very
sure
well.
Harold would have likely told you when he told you of us if they were.
I just wanted to be certain.
I won't deny, though, we did think of it. It would be quite useful to have someone who is a fellow dungeon researcher on our side, but we weren't certain, due to his ties with the Freelance Guild, if we should approach. We have to be very careful who we let join for obvious reasons.
Renil nods.
That is all I wish to inquire of.
Very well. Is there any questions from any of the rest of you before you head back?
I shake my head.
I don't believe we have anything left to ask.
Very well.
Let's see. We just need our next course of action, I think. Plan to meet with Shad tomorrow. Is anything currently occurring within the Lake of Magic worth our time, do you think?
Ava says, we have been noticing some strange palpitations in the distortion. They seem to be very odd, which is why I've been keeping an eye on it, but the Freelance Guild has already began looking into what's happening there. So we haven't yet been able to look into it ourselves. If I were to bet, the mystery dungeon is probably just shifting and forming something new, though.
Right.
It'll make it that much more difficult to fully eliminate it, but we'll eventually figure out what's happening there. In fact, if Shad is coming back, he will likely be aware of what's new with the Lake of Magic, so if you could tell us what he learned, it might make things a lot more convenient for us as well.
Noted.
Is that it?
That's all I can think of.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, then we will see you all
Do you
tomorrow.
Do you happen to know if Tarek will be back tomorrow?
Yes, Tarek and Ricky should both be back by tomorrow.
Well, then yes, I believe we will speak more then.
Okay. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
Okay. So you're gonna go back to the guild now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Renil's actually gonna go back to the university and go back to his father to ask him if he sent him the Espeon wand.
Okay, you go back, you do that, and your father looks at it. First off, his eyes widen and he says, huh, that's quite an impressive item you got there.
So you did not send it to me?
I did not. I'm aware of them. They're quite rare and quite expensive, in fact.
Interesting. I received it out of nowhere. And whoever sent it to me is aware of me.
And he's gonna show his dad the note.
Interesting. I can't say I know if anyone around here might have sent that to you. But, well, it's quite the valuable item. I hope it gives you some hope.
You know as well as I do that I cannot feel that. But it is certainly useful.
Alright. Be
And,
careful, Reniel.
I certainly will try.
And Renil would probably talk to him about various things, but probably nothing that would be worth talking about on camera, so we'll just move along.
Okay. So now, are you all going to meet up at the guild?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to discuss anything, or are you just going to turn in?
At this point, Eugene's like taking off this disguise too. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody was very much fooled by it.
Yeah, and he's kind of like stuffing it inside of the disguise kit too. And I say to them, we're gonna find Fleffel, and I'm gonna kill him.
Kind
Do
of
you not wish
gives
to hear him explain himself first?
No.
hearing the bluntness of this statement actually gets Sergey to turn his head. Huh. You're certain?
Yes. If we have to work with Delvers, CILS, I don't care. We're finding him.
It
He
looks
does
like
have-
you see things more along the lines of my way now.
I've just never known how I felt about killing.
Well, maybe you were right about some things, Reniel.
And
He
Renil
has
says,
no shortage of crimes to answer for, that's for certain. I can only hope that he himself isn't a pawn for someone else.
Oh, I could already tell. He's talking about freedom, but why did it seem like there was a rope around his neck while he talked to us?
It did seem that way, didn't it?
But that's my priority, to find him.
I've just been given a lot of things to think of over the last few days. Between Fluffwell, Delvers, CILS,
The Purge.
all of it.
We are getting pretty
Frankly,
deep into the thick of it all.
And I'm not even sure who to side with anymore.
Well, we all at least know who to side against. I think we can agree on that much.
That is true.
If we can agree on that, then I think we can agree to at least temporarily work with people we don't want to work with. If it means averting societal collapse.
Whatever it takes.
Regardless, I'm not sure if this is the proper place for this discussion.
You're right. It really isn't.
I'm gonna look around the room. Is there any, like, scrying device around here?
There does not appear to be any, no.
Okay, good.
Probably for the best. You imagine they don't normally want to keep an eye on what their people are doing.
You never know.
One step at a time. For now, let's just worry about tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So are you gonna go sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You all get into your beds in this guest room, and you all fall asleep. And in the next morning, you wake up to a loud knocking sound on your door.
Huh.
We're all in the same room?
Yeah.
Okay. We just have bigger rooms here.
Reniel mage hands the door open.
You see the Medicham run into your room, looking extremely frantic.
What's wrong?
There's been an incident. We need you guys up and ready.
What happened?
What?
Harold's already like getting out of bed and like grabbing his equipment and getting it assembled, getting his armor on and everything.
Reniel's just kind of casually getting out of his bed.
Yeah, I'm probably in the Reniel boat too, just kind of slipping out of bed, looking at what's going on, just trying to process it.
Something happened. The Lake of Magic, just this brilliant white light shot out, and two others also appeared. One somewhere on the Dwyneth River, and one far off in the desert oasis. We managed to get reports from the Dwyneth River, and we're not sure about the oasis yet. We're still not entirely sure, but it's clear. A mystery dungeon was suddenly spawned on the Dwyneth River, and we believe another one has appeared in the Great Desert Oasis as well. And Shad has not returned back from the Lake of Magic mystery dungeon yet either.
Which is there.
With this, Sergey's now actually starting to move a bit faster, getting everything on.
Yeah, getting all that, slipping all the equipment on.
Reniel's just kind of walking out of the room.
They're all populated locations that these mystery dungeons appeared in. There are Pokemon currently trapped inside them.
All three?
Well, the Lake of Magic itself, at least, doesn't have it, but yes, both the Oasis and the Dwyneth River have Pokemon trapped inside.
We will be going to the Dwyneth River.
Wait, wasn't your mother at the Lake of Magic?
No, she was at the Dwyneth River.
Oh.
I suspect that the new mystery dungeon spawned where the event happened to me.
Yeah. Let's go there.
Okay, if you guys head there, then we'll send another team to the Oasis one. I'm sorry for waking you up so early, but this is an emergency.
I heartily agree.
Get your gear ready, and try and save as many civilians as you can who are trapped in the mystery dungeon.
Out of character, do we have magic badges that can just teleport people out of the dungeon?
Or we're gonna
Yeah.
have to- Okay.
Well, I'll think of the details after.
That or we're effectively escorting an entire.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
gonna
no.
say you'll probably either have magic badges or you'll be given some sort of equipment that'll allow you to let people escape.
Give us a bunch of escape orbs that we just
Yeah. But yeah, he says, please hurry.
Yeah, it's taking me like 5 whole minutes to get my armor on.
Yeah. You're like eating
Yeah.
food at the same time.
Yeah. You're basically like speed eating, speed getting
We're
ready.
rushing.
Like late
People are
for work.
probably most likely if like both Harold and Sergey are both wearing heavier armor, like medium and heavy, so they're probably helping each other get the armor on.
Looks like the book is mine.
And with that, we will end it off.
Yeah, we just cut to the library and they don't come back.
It's mine.
Well, the book's mine then.
I guess they
Rated
didn't
in-
want it that badly.
It gets rated another 2 times.
But yeah.
Nah, I'll check it out.
But yeah. Here we are.
And here we are.
Oh
And
my
here we
gosh.
are, and here we
No.
are.
I don't understand this one.
So yeah, thank you for joining us for our ally.
It was fun.
It was a very big surprise.
I'll see you in another 23 episodes.
Or you'll become a guest character again that
Oh,
just
no.
kind of
That stays forever.
Once we're level 10, you're safe to be a guest character.
Yeah, we will see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.